And lastly, Africa is not all about the crisis in Sudan. Africa is not all about poverty, deprivation, and destitute. Africa is not all about insecurity. I hope the CNN, the BBCs, and the Sky News of this world will be around to give maximum coverage to this function.
Today is Monday, the 22nd day of May 2023, the day set aside for the continual hearing of the petition filed against the APC and the Independent National Electoral Commission by the Labour Party and its presidential candidate Peter Obi. In the wake of that, I welcome you to Nation's Voice Tower. My name is Angelo, your anchor. The Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja today rejected the applications for live broadcast of proceedings in Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi's petitions challenging Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's victory as Nigeria's president-elect. Recall that the PDP and the Labour Party's presidential candidates, talking about Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi respectively, urged the court to allow a live broadcast of its sessions owing to the magnitude of the dispute. But the five-member panel of the court, headed by Justice Samani Haruna, ruled on that, and it said there was no legal basis for its proceedings to be broadcast live. Citing Section 36 of the Nigerian Constitution, Justice Samani held a fair hearing of court proceedings, and he said thus: "This does not amount to conducting court sittings on television or in a stadium." The court further held that the issue of live broadcast of court proceedings has to be a judiciary policy that will be put in place by the heads of the court. Justice Samani therefore ruled that permission cannot be granted for a procedure that dramatizes the court's proceedings, reasons being that the application was devoid of merit and was accordingly dismissed. Now, the truth is, my reaction of this is so simple. According to what Justice Samani said in his verdict, this particular our constitution in Nigeria as amended doesn't really have a section that okays or advocates for public hearing of court proceedings, especially as it borders the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal. Okay, so for Justice Samani to rule there that it can't be televised whatsoever, that means yes, it cannot be televised. So I will urge obedience and all Nigerians alike to please make do with this judgment, and let's see where the judiciary takes us over time. Yes, in the wake of another development, Arise News in-house legal analyst Frank Tietie and political commentator has thrown more light on reasons why he thinks Alex Otti would still remain the legitimate and legally voted governor of Abia State, despite the news making the rounds about a certain court in Kanu rendering his victory null and void due to the party's inability to submit membership to the Independent National Electoral Commission within 30 days of its primaries before the concluded 2023 general elections. Now, there seems to be lots of misunderstanding over this particular ruling in court on Saturday by the court in Kanu. Now, as to how the court in Kanu assumed jurisdiction on the Labour Party and Dr. Alex Otti's case is yet to be unknown. So to throw light on this, more light, I would have Frank Tietie from Arise News, who was analyzing on air, to please briefly give us an insight of what the implications of this particular ruling is from the court in Kanu, and whether or not if the nullification of Alex Otti's voting or victory in the polls as regards the just concluded elections, whether it is actually valid or not. Let us hear from Frank Tietie.
A matter of fact that was brought before the court, the Labour Party didn't do with regards to Kano State and with regards to all other states, including the entire 36 states actually, but with specific concern to Kano State and Abia State. Now, and this is it's important that we at all times respect whatever the court proclaims. It doesn't matter whether you like it, whether it affects you negatively or not. In this case, the court looked at whatever was submitted to it, which it's constitutionally bound to do, and makes a declaration, not necessarily an order. A declaration, just the way it is, it states the law that this is the way the law is.
Just the way you're stating it now.
Exactly. And then it says that if any party, particularly Labour Party, does not comply with that particular provision, it means that whatever that proceeds from a primary election that it conducted will be null and void, and such votes will be wasted. It didn't go further than that. And that is the way it is. It refused to make further consequential orders. For example, it didn't have to declare the election of any candidate to be null and void. He also didn't have to declare that consequent upon the failure of the party to comply with that provision, and as such, it means another person should replace the other person or the other. No. So thankfully, the court simply just gave an elucidation of the state of the law with regards to compliance. But I must add quickly, because when we talk about compliance and we look at it with a stricto sensu approach, it will not be appropriate, because we argue all the time considering section 135 of the Electoral Act that keeps talking about substantial compliance, that INEC, for example, needs not, totally comply with every scintilla of the electoral provisions, the Electoral Act, and that so long as it makes some mistakes, but it substantially complies with all the provisions, and so no election can be declared void in that case. So you can't be holding these standards and then simply say, because a political party did not submit the list of its candidates to which it can actually submit subsequently, and then you cancel primary elections that have been conducted with billions of naira. A court reasonably doesn't do that. But what it has done is to, serve as a warning to legal officers of political parties that they need to man their departments very well. They need to get young lawyers to read between the lines of these laws, and then they create checklists for these political parties, because it's a misnomer and it's actually a minus for a political party to overlook such fundamental things like submitting the list of members to INEC within the time frame.
If you're just joining us, this is Simulation Voice Tower. Don't forget to please tap the subscribe button if you're an incoming subscriber. If you're an already existing subscriber, then don't forget to tap the notification bell so you will get a notification from us anytime we drop any. And yes, to our viewers and our lovely subscribers, always make our videos go viral by sharing it with people around you and in Nigeria. That is that. Yeah, on the particular issue of that video you watched there, Frank Tiete is an analyst, a professional in his field, a master in what he does. So to explain what it really holds for the court in Kano to assume jurisdiction of Alex Oti and Labour Party's case over the Abia State governorship election, that is quite different, because I don't think the court should be that harsh. Of course, the court wasn't that harsh, as explained by Frank Tiete there. The court just explained and made elaborations on what it entails for a party not to be able to submit its membership before or within 30 days of conducting its primaries. That is that. Yes, next on the news is the fact that at the ongoing commissioning of refinery owned by Dangote in Lekki in Lagos, the Vice President-elect Senator Shettima at the ongoing inauguration has come out to throw a jab at the BBC and the CNN and the Sky News. And this jab was so strong, so strong, and wow, it may be amusing, but it is a very strong statement to make to media houses, okay? A very strong blow that they need to attend to with immediate attention. Thus, Shettima there was so stunning with his statement that it had to spark up reactions from this media outlet and few Nigerians alike. I will allow you to watch this reaction and then hear what he has to say.
And lastly, Africa is not all about the crisis in Sudan. Africa is not all about poverty, deprivation, and destitute. Africa is not all about insecurity. I hope the CNN, the BBCs, and the Sky News of this world will be around to give maximum coverage to this function. Thank you very much.
All right, welcome back. That was Senator Shettima. He was directing those statements to the BBC, the CNN, and the Sky News. Those statements were so strong to make there. This particular jab was thrown straight. I will call it a stray bullet, if you ask me, because it was a statement with dual meaning, okay? So he has come out to say that Of course, Africa is not just a place for poverty, true. Africa is not just a place for insurgency, for the Sudanese crisis, for insecurity, for deprivation, and so on and so forth. But Senator Kashim Shettima there, the Vice President-elect, held it in that particular speech there before he left the ambo or the podium that the Africa that they well know is, of course, can be known for development. So he termed it to the emergence of one of the standard and one of the biggest and most functional refineries in the world right now, with the emergence of Dangote's refinery in Lekki, Lagos State. That is that on that particular update. It is no lies about what he said. So I hope we all take note of that, especially the BBC should report on this too. That is true about that particular issue. Finally, on our update, I have something quite more interesting for obedience and for Nigerians alike. Dr. Yunus Atanko, the chairman of the media committee of the Labour Party, has put up a press conference in conjunction with Nigerians in diaspora in respect of a summit that is designed and organized to inform and educate various flag bearers of the Labour Party on various styles of governance and in a way not to really go back on their promises that were made to voters who brought them into office. And this particular conference or summit, to be held on 25th of May 2023, has the theme, the Nigerian people first, and a new Nigeria is possible. That's what the theme of this particular summit to be held on 25th has. So to throw more light, I would leave Dr. Yunus Atanko to really brief us on what this particular summit to come on 25th has held for Nigerians and how it affects the ongoing Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal at the Court of Appeal. Watch him.
Our party, the Labour Party, and in inverted comma, the diaspora, has put up together an impactful leadership and good governance summit to give our elected candidate a sense of direction. To this end, a summit designed to inform and educate our trustworthy flag bearers in this dispensation will hold on May 25, 2023. The theme of the summit is the Nigerian people first, and it is possible. The following topic will be adequately discussed. 1. Impactful leadership and good governance. 2. Building synergy for the new Nigeria of our dream. All geared towards the Chapter 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and as contained in the 72-page manifesto document of Peter Obi and Deti Baba Ahmed, tagged "It is Possible." Our legislators and governors are expected to be well briefed on the brand of politics that is people's-oriented. The program is scheduled as follows. Date, 25th of May, 2023. Venue, the Franklin Event Center, FCT Abuja, and time is 8 a.m. prompt. Ladies and gentlemen, a new Nigeria is possible, and it starts with the Labour Party.
And we want to let the media know that Nigerians in the diaspora are keen into what is happening in Nigeria. And Nigerians in diaspora wants Nigeria that works, that they will come back home at some point. Hence, they have chosen, to work with Labour Party, to organize this summit. And many of them are going to be coming in for this summit. Most of our guest speakers are Nigerians, professional Nigerians in diaspora. You all know that in Nigeria, in the world today, Nigerians are doing well all over the world. And we're looking forward to harness these guys to come in to speak to our elected officials. We're going to be working with them for the rest of these 4 years. And we intend to partner with them, to give people-oriented program, people-oriented representation. The era of sleeping at the parliament is over. I can assure you guys that elected officials under the Labour Party are going to represent Nigerian people. They're not just representing their various constituencies, they're going to represent Nigerian people, because you guys know the movement that produced them. So it's not just only their constituency. Hence, Nigerians in diaspora are coming in to be part of this program and, speak to them, see the areas we can partner with them, support them for the rest of the 4 years they will be in the office. So I encourage the media to work with us, and we're inviting all of you to this summit so that you guys can air what we're doing and understand that indeed a new Nigeria is possible.
Yes, thanks for joining us. You've heard it there from Yunus Atiku, the chairman media committee for the Labour Party. It's quite simple and straight. Yes, there are many Nigerians outside the country that are interested in the polity now that we are all moving for a sort of developmental governance, for a stable government, for a succor in the federal government. So, for the Labour Party to come out and link or bring this sort of platform, a summit where there will be a sort of orientation to all new legislative officers from the Labour Party who are new into office, both the governorship, the National Assembly and the House of Senate. These people are going to come together to be told what they need to do for the people who voted them into office, so they wouldn't be a chip of the old bloc, as to portray what old politicians in other political parties have been doing over time, to a kind of rise and a sort of delusioned doubt from the minds of Nigerians alike who voted them into office. Thanks for joining us. I will bring you more updates from the court in my subsequent video. See you next time. Bye.